fired up to bring you a guest. He's been on here before. You've seen him all over MSG Networks, host of the No Catch-Up podcast, bringing you W's on the Twitterverse and on TV left and right. My man, Sean Little. Sean, great to be with you again, my man.
Monaco, of course, so happy to be here. Listen, you've been cooking. I've been paying attention. And if anybody watching is not paying attention, Alice Monaco has been sharp all year. Let's keep it. Let's get rolling. Let's get to it tonight.
I appreciate it. You must have not seen Thursday's show because I sat in the hot seat over here on a interrogation by our producer, Mike. But, hey, it's all good. You know how it goes. It's next man up, next game up. On that NFL note, it's been a weird couple of weeks here. What's been the biggest shocker to you the last couple of weeks, whether it's dogs or just favorites not covering? What's it been from you point of view-wise of what we've seen in Vegas?
Yeah, the underdog stuff is pretty crazy. They've been taking care of business across the board, especially the last 3 weeks. It was like that to start the week. Then the public was crushing Vegas right in the middle, like 3 weeks in a row earlier in the year. And then now it's just been all underdogs taking care of business. I think the biggest surprise for me is the Green Bay Packers. 9 straight covers is ridiculous. I don't think people like me and you might know that, but that is a ridiculous number to talk around. That's something that teams don't do. Also, everything that they need to happen seems to happen for them. The offense is middle of the pack, 15th in passing, 15th in rushing, 18th in yards per play, and then 17 in points. But they seem to score and get touchdowns and cover numbers when they need to. And then the defense is good and bad at the same time, right? They're 29th in red zone efficiency, 23rd in third down defense. But then on the flip, they're 3rd in yards per play and then 4th per points. I think the biggest surprise for me is the Packers. Obviously, Rodgers is that man. I tweeted out, don't bet against him at Lambeau. If you're thinking about it, just pass. But they're really interesting. I think that's the biggest surprise for me on a week-to-week basis.
No, I hear you. It's been incredible. And a shutout, too. I mean, Russell Wilson coming back and shut out by that Packers D. When you look at these dogs barking here in the last couple of weeks, do you change your approach at all at the plate? I mean, when you see Vegas dominating here and so much of the public money catching L's, do you change your approach at all?
No, I try to stay consistent. You don't want to just switch up everything when stuff's not going your way. I've been on some of the sharper sides these last couple of weeks, so I haven't been feeling it. But I think FTP, fade the public, is becoming more and more common lingo as you see on the Twitterverse and that type of thing. So for me, it always starts with, checking out the look ahead. That's the book telling you right away how they feel about the game. We don't know about injuries coming up yet. We still have a full game to be played, but they're telling you how they see both teams in real time. So I always try to get a peek at those look-ahead lines. Then I want to see how that line changes after they play. Is there injuries? Let's see if a guy goes out, how much a player might be worth on the point spread on different sides of the ball. So I always then re-look at the line after that. I make my picks then without doing research, almost like a gut check. Like, let me take a peek, see what's going on, and then I'll go through my research, my matchups, O-line versus D-line, pass offense versus defense. But just because of what's happening now, I don't try to change my philosophy. Always look at spots, look ahead spots. If for example, I think Tennessee's in a really interesting sandwich type spot coming up this week they got the Texans, who they're not going to respect, and then they have a look ahead game with the Patriots. So I think that stuff like that is always really interesting. Look at your spots, and then I'll look at the trends and see if they kind of match up with what I'm seeing statistically wise and how my gut feels. And then if those match up, that's when I'm really looking to lock in some units.
I love that. Whether you're in a slump or you're cooking, you stay true to your swing. All right. From a public money, sharp money perspective, do you like to fire at a certain time in the week? The lines move here and there. Like last week on the Packers note, that opened at 5.5, closed around 3.5, even 3. Some people got it. So do you look for moments and pick your spots on early fires, or do you like to wait for the late money to come in?
It depends. You know what I'm saying? I lean more later in the week because I just like as much information as I possibly can get. How many days people practiced, how many reps were each player was getting, stuff like that I like to see. And I do like to see where the money flows in. I think it's big for like public money versus sharp money. I like to jump ahead and look at what I think will be the public games. Like, for example, going into last night, we knew everyone was going to be on the Rams just because of the narrative, that spot. The people think the Niners stink, which they have been at home really poor this year. So that was like a big public spot. I always try to get ahead and see if the public or what I think is going to be a public spot, lock in there. And then if it becomes a public spot, maybe I try to make a case for the other side.
Unfortunately, I was that guy on the Rams, but hey, I couldn't ignore 1-11 in the last 12 at home, Sean. I could. Okay, let's get you out of here with this. If you leaned a conference winner, AFC, NFC, and/or a dark horse for me, who do you got out of the AFC and the NFC?
Yeah, I like the Bills as a favorite. I'm still a big believer still in their defense. Obviously, they've been putting up shutouts, and not shutouts, but they've been blanking people and holding people to very low numbers. I'm a big believer in Josh Allen. I think as a AFC dark horse, give me the Patriots, man. Only AFC undefeated team on the road. They're 4-0. Belichick obviously has what it takes to get stuff done. And then Mac Jones is playing really well. For the NFC, I know they're starting to lose a little steam. I still like Arizona. When those guys get healthy and all that stuff starts to quiet down, they're also 5-0 on the road. I like the Cardinals. I think people are starting to tail off a little bit. Once those boys get back, I think they're still those guys. And then the NFC dark horse is the Niners. Their 5 losses are to the Packers, the Seahawks, the Cardinals twice, the Colts. Those guys are a combined 24-15. The Niners are good. They're coached well. We'll see if last night can push them through the rest of the year.